Well, good morning, Trinium friends, and welcome to this week's episode of Patio Ponderings. Today, my patio is at my dining room table in my home. And this room and this table have been the site of many, many gatherings of friends and family. And what we heard about in our story on Sunday was a huge gathering of people in the home of Jesus. Jesus' reputation as a miracle worker, as one who heals and casts out demons, had preceded him, and everybody wanted to check him out and see what he was about and find help and healing for themselves. And so what I'm really pondering this week is the very first verse of this story that we heard, and it says this: "After a few days, Jesus went back to Capernaum, and people heard that he was at home." Now, at first glance, it doesn't seem like there's anything startling about this verse, but it really is, because we nearly never hear about Jesus being at home. In fact, this is the only place I can think of where Jesus is actually at home. We hear about him being in his hometown a handful of times in the Gospels. We hear about Jesus going home with his disciples quite often. But we never hear about Jesus at home or having a home, going home, any of those things. And so, in fact, in Matthew chapter 8, we get this verse. Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens, and birds of the sky have nests, but the human one has no place to lay his head." And so I've been thinking again about Jesus' lack of a home, and is Jesus homeless? Or do we just not ever hear about him being at home because that's not the most important thing about his ministry? But it seems that Jesus is homeless. And that's a really interesting thought in a couple ways. That one, it helps us understand Jesus' solidarity with the homeless and the poor, if he is living a life similar to them. But also it's an incredibly challenging model of ministry for us. We as the church in the 21st century have become very attached to our church homes, to our buildings, and so much of what we do is centered in our church homes. And it's been the place of amazing ministry, amazing relationships, and so many good things have come out of that. But I also wonder what we're missing then by being so centered in a home, when Jesus' ministry was all about traveling out in the world and out in the community. And so it's got me thinking about what it would look like to take steps toward Jesus' model of ministry from where we are today. The ELCA has a tagline that says, "Gathered and sent." We are people who are gathered and sent. I think that might be worth pondering in and of itself. Maybe just making the shift to looking at our church homes as a place where we gather with the specific purpose of being sent back out into the world. That might be a really great first step. But it's a different way of thinking about church. It's a different way of thinking about ministry, and that's what I've been pondering this week. And I wonder if you would ponder that as well. What would it look like if we as a church had a model of ministry more like Jesus, in which we are constantly out in the world, constantly traveling in our communities? Well, love to hear what you think, and stay warm today, and we'll see you on Sunday. Bye.